All right, I'm talking to Sayako Mizuta, who's been a very successful applicant, about her application process. First of all, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
So I first would like to know why you originally decided to challenge an MBA, and why ultimately you decided to attend Harvard Business School.
Okay, so for the YMBA part, I have like two reasons. The first reason is because I've always wanted to either work or study abroad while I was still in my 20s. That's because I position my 20s as like an investment period in my life. So I can like plant a lot of seeds in my 20s so that, I can be more, effective, I guess, in my 30s and 40s. And so I've always wanted to, to work hard, to fail hard, to learn, to grow, to make a lot of friends, and find out what I'm good at doing, or better yet, find out what I like doing during my 20s. And I wanted to do that not only in Japan and like within the set values of Japan, but also abroad, in a diverse environment. So, it's just that I can really expand my horizons, while I'm, kind of investing in myself in my 20s. So that's reason one. I just definitely wanted to be abroad while I was in my 20s. And the second reason is because I wanted to change careers. I've been working in our large consumer goods company for the past 6 years. It was an amazing place to work. I think it was the right choice for me. But I've always had this passion to make a social impact through my career. And now that I had 6 years of business experience and like planning, I thought if I had an MBA and kind of a more general perspective, I guess, in management, that would complete my business acumen, and I would be better equipped to start reapplying that to social enterprises or nonprofit organizations. So for those two reasons, I wanted to have an MBA abroad.
Got it. So for career change and for international experience.
Exactly.
Great. And why Harvard?
Oh yeah, Harvard. I like Harvard. I like Harvard for, I guess, in short, because it's the established mecca of management education that's in a period of reform, so it's very exciting for me. What I mean by that is I like Harvard for what it's known for the really sophisticated methods of, teaching you, for the really polished faculty, for the really structured alumni group, and also for the students who are attracted to that are very, focused and committed. So I like all that, the stereotype of Harvard. But I also like Harvard because in the course of trying out, I found out that it has a new dean, Dean Lorian. He's bringing a lot of reform. His mindset is that Harvard created management education. I hope that's true. And it created management education. It's been successful in the past century, but now it needs to be brought to a new level to kind of, continue to create the generation of new leaders. And so he's trying a lot of new things. The whole thing on learning about execution, not just theory, the focus on entrepreneurship, the focus on social enterprises, which is like just for me. So it's a really exciting time to be there. I just felt that it's like a huge experiment involving like 2,000 plus amazing talents from across the world, and of course there should be failures, but I mean it's a really exciting time to be there, I thought. So yeah, I like it for the established Harvard it's known for, and because it's changing, it just sounds like memorable time to be there.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great couple of years.
Yeah, I hope.
So you were very successful. You got a Fulbright scholarship. You were admitted to Harvard and another school on the West Coast. So tell us, what were some of your best practices from your test prep and your overall application process?
Okay. Overall, I think my first advice would be to do everything early. Early. So just get your test done. You get your test scores early. book your consultant's time early while they still have it. Start start writing your essays early. Get second opinions early, and yeah, for God's sake, start asking for the recommendation letters early. That can never hurt you, and yeah, that's the overall advice. And I think generally, more into details, test prep is like composed of 3 very different games. The score making, the essays, and the interviews, they're just completely different. So for test prep, my best practice was doing mock exams. My belief is that for both GMAT and TOEFL, you don't necessarily need to become a more intelligent person or like have a fundamentally better command of English to get a better score. And I think it's equally effective that you get used to the style of the test and the time frame. So my best practice would be for GMAT, just get the Kaplan prep book. For TOEFL, get the official TOEFL prep book, and then just do the mock exams. And then if you see that you have a tendency to make the same mistake or that you run out of time, just adjust accordingly, and then do another mock exam and then another one. So to me that works. I mean, it's just very simple. There's no then there's nothing about your values or anything in it. Just do it. Done. Exactly. And then, but then comes a completely different game. It's more like the freestyle ice skating part comes. So then it's your essays, and then so here my advice would be to actually, if you still can afford to apply for Fulbright, because. I mean, we're human beings, right? And we're driven by deadlines. So if you have a Fulbright, just a background. Fulbright requires you to write a full essay on why MBA. Well, not why MBA, but yeah, why MBA.
Your goals,
your
future
goals,
plans.
and exactly your future plans. And I forgot when the deadline is. It's like May?
Yeah, end of May.
May-ish? End of May.
Sometime in May.
Yeah, way ahead of your round 1
Yes.
due dates anyway.
Not
so
September.
That exactly. So I don't think many people have written essays in that format before. So it gets you used to writing essays. It gets you used to talking to your advisor, your consultant, and it gets your whole YMBA, the really fundamental part, out in May, which is a huge head start. So if you can apply for Fulbright, there's nothing to lose. I mean, you might not get it, but you have your YMBA essay in May. That's a gift. So it's my best practice. I guess then for interviews, my best practice was the mirror method, and
just talking to yourself.
Yeah. If you want to learn what it is, you need to become Vince's client. But yeah, in essence, it's about talking to yourself. It works. Occasionally, it gets you depressed, but it works. So. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, and those were my best practices. So just buy your textbooks, grind away, and then apply for Fulbright. And then if you're luckily invited to an interview, call Vince Prep, or go get a mirror. I don't know. Yeah, get a mirror.
This is a surprise question.
Okay.
But I'll just throw it in. I'm just curious. If you had to estimate how many hours you spent talking to yourself using this mirror thing, what would you just rough guess?
Okay, I don't...
5, 10, 20? Less?
No, I think I did at least 10 before I went to Shanghai. At which point I had like 48 hours before my interview without anything else to do because I was too scared to go outside in Shanghai back then, which was just completely a mistake. I should have been out, but yeah. So out of the 48, I think I had another 10 or 15, so yeah.
Great, a lot.
A lot.
A lot. Well, it's
25-ish.
It's certainly worked. And
yeah.
Shanghai, just for those people watching who aren't familiar, Shanghai means that's where you had your Harvard interview.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Excuse me.
So my next question is, what surprised you the most about the whole application or school selection process? What do you know now that you wish you knew before you started?
Right. What I wish I knew before I started is just really how diverse my classmates are now. So like just how what a variety of leadership styles or careers that Harvard really appreciates. Because before I tried, I thought I need to be from McKinsey and I need to be 24 to apply.
Right.
So I mentioned that essays are like a freestyle ice skating, right? And if it's somewhere in your mind that you need to be like somebody, that immediately kind of takes away your freedom and your I wouldn't say creativity, but your energy level, your passion is kind of taken out of you if you're pretending to be someone else. And I won't say that you can just walk out there and be yourself. I mean, you do need to learn what your audience wants and to be able to present yourself in a professional way. But if I had known that Harvard has such a diverse classroom and that they want to have it because that's how they have, a really active, very, how should I say, effective class where, group discussions become meaningful, because if they're all from McKinsey, for God's sake, they could have stayed in McKinsey and had the same thing. So, yeah.
You went to the Admit Students weekend.
I did.
And that was surprising.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was, I would say any kind of diversity you could imagine. I mean, gender, ethnicity, age.
So
Harvard,
it's not just a bunch of 24-year-olds.
No. At one point, Harvard claimed that they want to kind of accelerate their, or more like, get students who are younger, and they had a new program for it. I mean, it's there, but I would guess that the median is 26. There are statistics out there that I think 26 and 7-ish, and lows in maybe 24, and then highs even up to like 32. So yeah, and there's this whole big diversity, and they appreciate a variety of leadership styles. So if I had known that Harvard is really interested in what unique values you have and like what true diversity you can bring to the classroom, I wouldn't have spent so much time worrying or kind of capping myself that I'll never get to Harvard. I would more, have started the journey of like really thinking about what small but important things happened in my life that formed my belief of leadership. I mean, they don't have to be huge projects, but it just needs to be that it formed your belief in leadership, and then that just really counts. So yeah, this is kind of loud, but
that's okay. This is good.
Yeah, if I just know that I could be me, I could talk about my values, and I can still get there, I mean, I would have been a lot happier.
Right on.
Yeah.
2 more questions.
Sure.
How do you plan to use your MBA to help Japan and the world?
The question, I hope, my dream is that I can use my MBA so that I can create a more vibrant social sector in Japan, so like social enterprises and nonprofits. Because the impression I get is that that sector in Japan now it's in a very exciting, changing time now, but at the same time, it's not as established as in the United States for a variety of reasons. But one of them being that, the business mindset is not really there. I do believe that business is not just for making money. By making any organization more sustainable and scalable and capable of training people and hiring people, it just helps it to serve its mission better. And if the mission is to serve our social needs, I mean, there you go. So yeah, personally, I want to be able to reapply that so that the social sector in Japan kind of becomes more vibrant, a more attractive place for people to work, and then ultimately make a lot of, I guess, the younger generation happier in their careers. Really exciting.
Could be a lot of innovation.
Oh yeah.
Last question, and this is kind of an abstract one, but I'm curious if you feel optimistic or pessimistic about the future.
Like myself, or like Japan, or like
in general,
the world? In general,
yeah, Japan or yourself or the world, however you want to take the question.
Yeah.
Are you generally optimistic or generally pessimistic?
Generally optimistic, I guess, because I guess because it's such a popular topic about like Japan sinking.
Uh,
Well, we clearly have a couple of very serious problems out there. Like in the next decade, we'll probably have a serious issue with energy and probably with food supply.
yes.
And yeah, but I'm actually pretty optimistic because I believe it's kind of a mindset issue,
Uh,
not something really fundamental. Well, of course, there's the demographics, but there's the way to be happy with the current demographics. So
yes.
I just fundamentally think it's a mindset thing, and Japan has, I think, a really strong, really strong assets, really high fundamentals in the sense that there's a lot of talent there. People are hardworking, and that I think it's also historically a very flexible country. We modernized without having, a lot of bloodshed, for example. So it's
Yes.
kind of, once the mindset's there that, oh God, we need to change, it can happen. And I think there are a lot of motivated, talented people in Japan that can make it happen, and I hope I can be one of them. So yeah. Well, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I'm optimistic.
Right on.
Yep.
Do you want to say anything at the end in Japanese?
Oh, sure. In Japanese.
You can talk to the camera
こっ
if
ち
you
か。
want.
はい。ですね。ですね。なんでしょうね。失うものはあんまりないので、少しでも MBA に行ってみたいなと思う気持ちがあるのであれば、一回はちょっと本気でチャレンジしてみると、その受かっても受からなくても、やっぱりただどうしようかなと思って、ただ仕事をしていた人生と比べて、やっぱり何かを決めて貫いたっていう経験はやっぱり糧になっていくと思うので、思ってるよりもですね、怖いことじゃないので、ぜひやってみてください。お役に立てることがあれば、日本人の在学生も卒業生もいますし、ヴィンスみたいなね、日本が好きな人もいるので、きっと思ったよりも多くの人が助けてくれていい経験になると思います。ので頑張ってください。
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
You understood that?
Yes.
Cool.
Enjoy Harvard.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Right.